The pain was a living thing, a shard of ice twisting in my gut. My neighbors stood over me, faces twisted by hunger and desperation. I had shared my food, my fire, my hope. I thought we were united against the endless winter, but I was wrong. Their leader, Fang Tian, held the bloody knife. "It's nothing personal, Zhang Yi," he grunted, breath fogging in the frigid air. But it was personal. He'd eaten at my table, his daughter played with toys I'd salvaged. I had trusted him. I'd shown him my stockpile. The betrayal cut deeper than the blade. I lay on the frozen floor, life draining out, vision blurring. They grabbed my last cans of food, my blankets, my hope. I had fought so hard to live, endured chaos, cold, and isolation. But I failed to guard against the darkness in the human heart. My final thought, I should never have trusted them. As my world faded, one desire consumed me: revenge. I wanted them to feel the same cold, the same desperation. I wanted them to suffer for what they'd done. To be reborn, to have one more chance, was an impossible dream. The darkness took me, and I fell into an endless, silent abyss. The cold had finally won, or so I thought. The universe, it seemed, had other plans for me. My story wasn't over. Not yet. The world had frozen over, but so had I. This was not the end. It was the beginning. I gasped. Air filled my lungs. Not icy, but warm, humid city air. I was in my own bed, sunlight streaming through the window. My hands were clean, unscarred, no wound, just the memory of a knife. Was it a nightmare? I checked my phone. June 3rd, 2025. My blood ran cold. 1 month before the Great Cold. It wasn't a dream. It was a memory. I had died, and now I was back. Reborn. The shock sent me stumbling. How is this possible? Outside, people complained about the heat, oblivious to the doom ahead. In 30 days, survival would be all that mattered. I had a second chance. To prepare. To survive. To get revenge. Fang Tian, Liu Yan. The faces of betrayal flashed in my mind. The fire of vengeance, once dying, now roared back to life. This time, I would not be the naive fool. I would not share. I would not trust. I would build a fortress so impenetrable, so well-stocked, no one could threaten me again. This rebirth was not a gift of peace. It was a declaration of war against the future. I would not waste this chance. I would be ready. The world would freeze, but I would endure. I would not forgive. I would not forget. The countdown had begun. 30 days to change my fate. 30 days to become unbreakable. The clock was ticking. This time I would win. No one would betray me again. The memory of the ice apocalypse was seared into me. It wasn't gradual. It was a sudden, brutal shift. Blizzards swept the globe, snow in the Sahara, ice on the Amazon, temperatures plunged to -100°C, power grids failed, no light, no heat, no internet, water pipes burst. Clean water became gold. People burned furniture for warmth, breath crystallizing in the air. Panic gave way to grim reality. Food vanished from shelves in hours. Society cracked, then shattered. Survival became simple. Shelter, warmth, water, food. Shelter had to be insulated. Warmth needed fuel. Water had to be melted and purified. Food was the new currency. Cause of alliances and betrayals. Neighbors became savages. Good people turned desperate. I had seen it all. Governments fell. Armies froze. Most died in months. Only the prepared and ruthless survived. This knowledge was my weapon. While the world slept, I would prepare. I would not be caught off guard again. I would be ready for the frost. This time, I would not just survive. I would dominate. The cold would not claim me. I would be unstoppable. As I stood in my apartment, I felt something new, a vast, empty void connected to my mind. I focused, reached for a book on my table, and willed it into the void. The book vanished. No sound, no flash, just gone. In my mind, I sensed it, suspended in nothingness. I willed it back. It reappeared in my hand, unchanged. Giddy, I tested it again, a pen, a cushion, the remote. Each vanished and returned at my command. The space felt infinite, a bottomless, invisible warehouse only I could access. This was my new ability, a supernatural gift from my rebirth. In the coming apocalypse, storage and transport were the biggest challenges. Now, I had the perfect solution, a pocket dimension, an untouchable vault. My plans for survival had just been upgraded. I could hoard supplies on a scale no one could imagine: food, fuel, medicine, weapons. I could create a sanctuary to last decades. This power was the ultimate tool for survival and revenge. The universe hadn't just given me a second chance. It had given me an overwhelming advantage. I would use it. I would not waste it. My enemies would never see it coming. I was no longer just a survivor. I was a force of nature. The cold world would bow to me. I would be untouchable. My fortress would be unbreakable. My revenge inevitable. The rules had changed. I was ready to play, and I would win. My target was clear: the city's largest Walmart distribution warehouse. Miles of shelves, stacked with everything needed to survive. In my past life, I'd worked logistics there. I knew its secrets. That knowledge was now priceless. I rented a small warehouse nearby, bought a used cargo truck. To outsiders, I was just a small-time reseller. But I was about to pull off the greatest heist of the apocalypse. I knew the blind spots, the lazy night supervisor, the delivery schedules. I'd make dozens of trips using my dimensional space to empty entire aisles in minutes. On camera, it looked like normal business. In reality, I was taking everything. Billions in supplies. Enough food, medicine, and fuel to outlast the end of the world. While others would fight over scraps, I'd sit atop a mountain of resources. This wasn't just survival. It was absolute security. Power. I would never be helpless again. My fortress would be stocked for decades. The world would freeze, but I would thrive. No one would take from me again. Each pallet of food was a brick in the wall around my heart. I remembered the faces of my neighbors, their pleas turning to threats. That Zhang Yi was dead, killed by kindness repaid with a knife. Now I was a survivor, forged by betrayal. No room for sentiment, no room for weakness. My purpose? Self-preservation above all. I saw families in stores, felt a pang of guilt, but the memory of Fang Tian's cold eyes erased it. Why should I save them? Who would save me? Kindness was a liability. Trust, a death sentence. My fortress was for me alone. I had paid for compassion with my life. This time, others would pay for their own lack of preparation. My heart was hardening into diamond, unbreakable, cold. Sometimes the ghost of the old Zhang Yi whispered to me. One night, I saw a mother and son struggling with groceries. Instinctively, I helped. The mother smiled, grateful. For a moment, it felt good, human. But then I remembered Fang Tian's daughter, the illusion of community. What if this kindness made me a target? I retreated, connection turning to paranoia. The conflict was constant, a yearning for trust, crushed by memory. Every act of kindness felt like a seed of my own destruction. I doubled down on isolation, worked at night, became a ghost. To survive, I had to kill the man I once was. The kind man was a liability. In the world to come, there was no room for him. Only the cold, calculating survivor could endure. I would not risk everything for a smile. The apocalypse demanded a new me. Days before the Great Cold, my preparations were complete. My dimensional space overflowed with supplies. My shelter was ready. I had built an ark for the coming flood of ice, but my money was about to become worthless. What was the point of wealth when a can of soup was priceless? I wanted one last taste of the world, a final, decadent meal. I went to the city's most exclusive restaurant, spent my useless money on luxury. This meal wasn't about hunger. It was a farewell to the old world, a celebration of the end, a toast to my new beginning. I savored every bite, every flavor. It was a memory of warmth to carry into the cold. One last indulgence before the long winter. I sat at a table, wine in hand, city lights glittering outside. Each bite was a ritual, absorbing the last warmth of a dying sun. The money meant nothing, but the experience was priceless. I thought of my journey. Betrayal, rebirth, resolve. I had sacrificed kindness for survival. Was it worth it? Yes, my life was my own. The meal marked the end of a chapter. The trusting neighbor was gone, the survivor was born. I felt no guilt for my choices. The world was brutal. I would be too. I left a large tip, my last act in the old world. The sun set, beautiful and final. I walked toward my sanctuary, calm and certain. The apocalypse was coming. Let it come. I, Zhang Yi, was ready, and I would endure.